It's not that I did anything that was amazing, that was earth-shattering. It was, I had some amazing experiences that allowed me to grow as a leader that people look for. We're here in Dickinson, North Dakota, the place where I grew up. I'm Eric with Leadership Developed. This week we're going to talk about nature, nurture, and chance, and how those three things developed my story. Your nature is where you grew up. It's what impacts you in your day of life. Here in North Dakota, it snows 9 months out of the year. So you had to have some resiliency. To be a track runner in North Dakota takes a special type of person. It takes also a person that really doesn't give a shit. Your nurture though, your nurture is the people that impacted you, your family, your teachers, your coaches, the community around you. Chance. Chance is that opportunity or misfortune that happens to you. That is the opportunities that we do or do not take. Those misfortunes that hits us or misses us. Your nature, your nurture, those two impact of how that chance happens. Whether the opportunities present themselves, whether you take those opportunities or whether you're going to procrastinate to make that decision in which the opportunity passes you by. The nature and nurture also creates your resiliency of how you handle misfortune. A person is not defined by what has happened to them, but how they respond to that. How do they pick themselves up? Growing up, you didn't have control of your nature. You were where your parents were established. But that still had that biggest impact of what developed your character. It was the area around you. It was the environment. It was the climate. It was this blowing wind. It was the lack of adventures to be had, or the ability to create your own adventures and think of a larger world that's out there. So my dad was a political figure here. He was a community leader in which he was trying to help the city come off an oil boom and be able to still thrive. He knew that change can only be led by people who had the vision to see the change, to see the possibilities, to see the opportunities in which we talk about and chances. I failed to learn those things. I failed to take advantage of those situations to learn from him what it took to lead that change. In this town, pretty much, people don't care how smart you are. They don't care how, innovative you are. All they ask for is equal effort. Just because you found a smarter way of getting something done faster, they still expect you to continue putting in the effort that they're putting in to be able to help the community not just survive, but you gotta thrive in this location. So as growing up as a boy here in Dickinson, I wasn't really much good at anything. Definitely wasn't a leader. I was pretty self-absorbed, stuck in my head, wondering what it was out there that wasn't in this ice pack. I was a little scrawny little boy, and it was tough for me to figure out what I was good at. Wasn't a good basketball player, wasn't big enough to play football, didn't know how to play hockey because I didn't really have the balance or the stability to play with the big boys. But in junior high, I was challenged to run a lap around here. I did pretty good. And this is where I learned that I was going to be a distance runner. It was here at Trinity High School where I learned to win. It wasn't by mentorship, it was by the opportunities that were given to me to be able to compete every day against people that were much better than me, people that were highly developed, smarter, things like that, that pushed me to be that scrawny kid to compete with the likes of these talented athletes. Taking those opportunities to compete eventually taught me how to win. So after high school, I was able to take control of what my nature and nurture would be. I had the opportunity by many colleges to go run cross country and track. However, at that time, I was kind of complacent. I was very unsure of what I wanted out of my future. I didn't really grow up. So, taking the best offer that I could get at the time, I came here to Dickinson State. Here, I tried to do everything, in which I learned that you can't do everything, just try anything. So, I studied as much as I could from physics and sciences all the way to arts and theater. And I still couldn't figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. As my concern towards being sociable over my classes, I found myself not going in the right direction. And it wasn't until I was involved in the theater department in which the seeds of leadership was planted. When and why did I decide that I needed to be a leader? It wasn't until I left till I really learned that I needed to be part of my community, not just to be a team member, but to actually step up and lead if I wanted things to be better. So no matter how much I wanted my life to get better, there was only one person who was going to make it better, and that was myself. So then I had to learn how to lead the effort for myself, for the people around me, and for my community. Growing into the leader that my community needed was not that I wanted it, is that it was a necessity for me to create change for myself. The decision for me to leave college and to join the Marine Corps was a necessity for redefining my identity. Actually, finding my purpose. Being a theater major did not satisfy what I needed. It was the ability for me to actually be part of the world, to be an answer for not just my community, but for the world around me. You see, we talked in nature and nurture about the area that influences you and what you influence. And Southwest North Dakota is no longer the area that I wanted to impact. Now, in 22 years in the Marine Corps, my influence and the influence of me has grown significantly, at least to a hemisphere's worth of people. I have been able to take those experiences, to take those lessons, to be the leader that my people needed through 2 wars, 4 combat tours, 24 countries, saving over 300 lives, saving over $1 billion worth of property during natural disasters. It's because of those experiences that I have been fortunate enough that I have been called a leader by thousands of people who look to me to help them find a better life. I come back to Dickinson because my family still lives here. In the 29 years since I left Dickinson, a lot has changed. The city has grown from 17,000 to 22,000 with the help of an oil boom. Oil is the biggest revenue builder here in the city, followed by whatever supports it, whether it's housing, hotels, restaurants, but it's still the same people with the same attitude of your effort has to equal my effort. We have to not only survive in this icebox, we have to thrive to grow. I decided to create Leadership Developed because I am so tired. I'm so sick of seeing the fake, the whole narcissism that we see in our organizations, between our governments, our corporations, our nonprofits. People claim that they are leaders, but yet, who's following them? Who's putting up with that bullshit? It's the reason why I decided that I needed to create a better world, to create a better leaders, and help you who want a better world, who want better leaders, to make you that leader that you wanted when you were growing, to help you have those people say, yes, I believe in you, and you will help us grow into better people. Leadership isn't just an organizational thing, it's a lifestyle. And it's required by everyone to understand what it is. Not because they have to be the leader, because people need them to be the leader. Change does not happen unless you lead it. It wasn't that I did anything amazing, but I did have some amazing adventures. I'm Eric with Leadership Developed. If you like this video, hey, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. Also, if you missed last week's video, check it out right over here. We will talk to you again next week. If this was my nature, you have to understand that there's really not much to do.